I don't need to snap. I'm not syncing up the microphone because I cannot be bothered. Hi, welcome back to Tina Ranks Every Broadway Musical, April edition. I'm doing it very quietly because it's the middle of the night and, you know, I haven't been feeling it. The past month, I don't know what happened. I fell behind for a good chunk of it. I spent the last couple of days of April and then most of May 1st just listening to 16 musicals in a row, and my brain was fried at the time, so I needed some time to decompress, get back to the normal musical listening rate. Here we are. The Broadway 2-Day Challenge is an online challenge created by Stacey Muscati Moore, aka Theater Kid Audition Coach on TikTok. She wanted to find more obscure audition songs for her students, so she was like, why not try to listen to all the musicals in a year? And a bunch of people were like, hey, I'll do that too. So that's basically the gist of it all. The month of April covers from about 1965 to just before 1970. May has one show from 1969, so whatever, doesn't count. I will be ranking each of these musicals on an S through F scale. S tier is, you know, best of the best, one of the all-time favorites, you can't change my mind. A tier is pretty good, worthy enough to be on my Spotify favorites. B tier is not for me, but I can see why other people like it. C tier is it was enjoyable in the moment, but I forgot it immediately afterwards. D is I couldn't pay attention to it and I still don't remember it. F is no, do not pass go, it is horrible, it is racist, somethingist for whatever reason, or I just couldn't finish listening to it. And then L, of course, is for lost to time. I realized something in the past month that I don't really need to tell you if something's been lost to time. We don't need to spend time on it, and I really don't need to be spending time on F and D tier musicals because you really don't want to. It's really not worth it. So we're gonna hold a memorandum right now for all of the musicals that will have been lost. Great, so now you know, do not waste your time on those shows. That being said, let's get ranking. Flora, the Red Menace. A woman tries to make it in the fashion industry and also becomes involved in communism. I don't know how I didn't pick up on the communist aspect with the title like that until there was a song that explicitly stated it. Otherwise it was fine enough. I give it a B. The Roar of the Grease Paint. The Smell of the Crowd. Two men resembling the rich and poor try to be the best at life. The song Feeling Good is such an obvious standout, and the rest of the show is also brilliant and also an excellent class commentary. I give it an A. Pickwick. A man and his valet recall the misadventures that landed them in debtor's jail. You know, I'm not too mad about it. It's enjoyable and some of the orchestrations are really a lot of fun. Some of the songs do end up a bit repetitive, but overall not terrible. I give it a B. Drat, the Cat. A young woman who wants a career but can't because of society turns to cat burgling. Wild and Reckless is a standout. I enjoyed the show for the most part, but I think there were 5 places where the show could have ended and the plot wouldn't have suffered. I give it a B. Plus, On a Clear Day You Can See Forever. A woman with ESP might be the reincarnation of someone. I think. The Wikipedia summary really confused me. I enjoyed it in the moment, but now that it's been nearly a month, I couldn't tell you anything about it. I give it a C. The Zulu and the Zeta. A Jewish grandfather and a South African man become friends during apartheid. This show switches between Jewish and South African music, and while it's a little bit tonally dissonant, I'm not actually mad about it. It's still an overall good experience, and I really enjoyed it. I give it an A-. Skyscraper. A woman tries to save a building but gets sidetracked in over-the-top musical numbers. This one had a classic musical sound, but unlike Clear Day, I actually wasn't too mad about this one. There are some genuinely enjoyable moments. I give it a B. Man of La Mancha. A prisoner tells a variation of Don Quixote, but not exactly Don Quixote as the composer will tell you many times. This show is incredibly good. It's full of good music, it is both charming and heart-wrenching. The songs do a wonderful job of telling the story. It's just fantastic. This is an S tier. Anya. The titular character believes she is Anastasia. Yes, that Anastasia. I think this one was fine, but it wasn't really for me. I promptly wiped it from my memory. I give it a C. La Grosse Valise. It's a musical review, but a clown has to get through airport security. I didn't write anything down for this one, but I vaguely remember it being decent, but I can't tell you anything about it now, so that's a C tier for me. Sweet Charity. A taxi dancer has various romantic adventures. The music's good, and I think the main reason this show really shines is because of Bob Fosse's original choreography, which has usually stuck around in revivals and other productions. My college put on a pretty decent production of the show that I got to see, and while it's very fun and catchy, I can't say that it's for me. I give it a B. Boost Cafe. A German professor becomes obsessed with a cabaret singer. I remember listening to it, and I had something to say about it, but it has since left my mind. But fun fact, Duke Ellington wrote the music for it. This is a C. Mame. A wealthy woman finds herself becoming the guardian of her nephew, and also the Great Depression is happening. I can't be mad at the show because it's good and the songs are seen everywhere. Did you know that We Need a Little Christmas came from this show? Because I didn't until now. But also, I don't know if I personally would add it to my favorites on Spotify. I give it a B. Plus, The Apple Tree, a collection of 3 stories. I vaguely know the show because of the song Feelings, but otherwise there wasn't really anything I wanted to remember. I give it a C. The AC has turned on, and also it's gonna create a bunch of noise, and I didn't use my other microphone, but you're just gonna have to deal with it. Anyways, let's sing Yiddish. It's a review-ish, comparing Jewish life in Central Europe and in America. The songs are entirely in Yiddish, and I definitely listened to the songs out of order because they weren't numbered on the Google Drive, but I still enjoyed it. I give it a B. Cabaret! There's a cabaret, people fall in love and have drama, and also that group of really bad people whose name rhymes with Yahtzee are looming near. The music in this one is so good. That's it. This is an A. Walking Happy. A man tries to get his 2 youngest daughters married while the eldest one tries to find a marriage for herself. I remember nothing from it. This is a C. Sherry. A radio personality is forced to live with the family he's been bullying after he slips on ice. Hilarity ensues. I'll be honest, it was 3 a.m. when I listened to this show, and I probably need to listen to it again to give a more accurate score. Fun fact about this show, the score was actually lost for a very long time, and then when it was found again in 2004, a recording was made based on that score. Fun. I give it a B. Hallelujah, baby. A black woman overcomes obstacles to become a singing star. The music in this one wasn't terrible, but I don't remember too much from it. This is a C. Ilya, darling. An American man and a Greek woman teach each other things about life. That's the most PG way to put it. I like the Greek influence on the music, but I think there's a reason we don't know the show very well, and it's because it's just fine. I give it a C. Henry Sweet Henry. 2 teenagers stalk a composer and meddle in his life. It wasn't terrible, but I wouldn't put it as an all-time favorite. This is a C. How Now, Dow Jones. A woman fibs about the Dow Jones number so that her fiancé will marry her. Chaos ensues. I'm not too mad about the music. It's pretty fun, even if there are a few that are underwhelming. I give it a B. The Happy Time. A photographer returns to his childhood home. Drama ensues. I actually listened to this and forgot if I had actually listened to it until I looked up the synopsis again. It's fine enough, but it's not very memorable. I give it a C. Golden Rainbow. A widower struggles to raise his son until his sister-in-law appears and they fall in love. Despite that, I enjoyed the music. There's one song that leans a bit into Arabian stereotypes and I have no clue what the context is, so that's a bit awkward. But ultimately, I don't remember enough to warrant a recommendation. This is a C. Leonard Sillman's New Faces of 1968. It's a musical review. I usually love the New Faces, and this one is no different, but something about it felt lackluster in comparison to the other ones. It's still good though. I give it an A-. Hair. A man decides between being a pacifist and enlisting in the Vietnam War draft. I actually quite like this one, and of course we can't forget about the huge cultural impact. I give it an A. Promises, promises. A man rents out his apartment to his bosses for their nefarious purposes. Love and drama ensues. The music in this one was enjoyable. What a relief, honestly. I think the last song, I'll Never Fall in Love Again, is bad, which is probably the only thing that's keeping it from a true A tier. I give it an A-. The Megillah of Ixik Manger. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's the Book of Esther, but in Yiddish. I enjoyed this one. The recording is very effective at telling the story, but I'm not sure if I'll be listening to it again. This is a B. Her first Roman. It's Caesar and Cleopatra. It started off quite strong, but then I lost interest as time went on. I give it a C. Maggie Flynn. A woman's life gets flipped when her vagabond ex-husband returns. I wasn't too mad at this one, actually. The music does a great job of telling the story, and I really like their use of leitmotifs. This is a B. Zorba. Two men travel to Crete and fall in love. Drama ensues. People die, I think. I enjoyed listening to it, and then I promptly wiped it from my memory. This is a C. The air conditioning has gone away. It is silent again. Red, White, and Maddox. Georgia Governor Lester Maddox becomes president of the United States and starts a war with the Soviet Union. Chaos ensues. I think most of it flew over my head, but it was mostly fine. It's a satire, so I like that aspect, but also one of the songs throw out a slur, which I'm not so much a fan of. I feel like this is one of those shows that you had to see in person to get. Either way, I think I need to listen to this one again. For now, it's a C. Celebration. A man tries to restore a garden at the orphanage by making an old man feel alive again. You know what? I actually really enjoyed this one. Orphan in the Storm is a huge standout, and the rest of the songs were very enjoyable. According to the Wikipedia page, some people said that this show would have thrived off Broadway, and I kind of agree. The concept of this show is certainly out of the norm for Broadway, and we know how Broadway feels about the norm. Get out of here, Music Man. This is an A. Canterbury Tales, a collection of 5 stories from the Canterbury Tales. It was pleasant to listen to, but I don't remember any of it. This is a C. Dear World. When a corporation discovers oil under a Paris neighborhood, one man goes out of his way to save it. Also, he falls in love, I think, and there's a crazy old woman who lives in the basement of a bistro. This one had everything one could want. Good music, a variety of different sounds, Angela Lansbury. It was just missing something for me. I give it a B. 1776. They signed a Declaration of Independence. Yep, I thought it was fine. If I had a chance to see the show in person, I feel like I would really enjoy it. As I mentioned last month, this is a limitation of the challenge in that we're only experiencing a show through its music for the most part, which isn't the complete tale of a musical. I give it a B. Come summer, an aging traveling peddler and his young companion find adventure while working in the Connecticut River Valley in 1840. I kind of came around to it by the second half, but again, I don't know if it's worthy of me recommending it. This is a C. Jimmy. It's about New York City Mayor Jimmy Walker. What is with these shows and musicals about New York mayors? I think it was fine, but I promptly wiped it from my memory. This is a C. La Strada. A girl is forced to join a circus and becomes the star of the show. Tragedy follows. I actually quite like this one. Starfish is a standout, and I really enjoyed the orchestrations, and the music did a great job at telling the story. I don't know if it's absolutely amazing, but it's worthy of a recommendation. I give it a B. Coco. Inspired by the life of Coco Chanel, a woman comes out of retirement to design again. Is it awkward to say I like the songs that didn't have the main character in it? Yeah. This is a C. Georgie. A woman finds herself taking care of her roommate's baby. This wasn't terrible, but I can't help but feel the music doesn't quite match the tone of the story, and the ending felt quite abrupt. I give it a C. Pearly. A traveling preacher returns to his hometown to save a community church and emancipate the cotton pickers on the plantation. My jaw clicked. Did you hear that? Ah, there we go. I really enjoyed this one. The titular song is a standout, and overall it was a good time. The one thing I might have against it is that sometimes it gets tonally confused between its genuinely good soul sound and the normal musical theater. I give it an A. Minnie's Boys. Inspired by the life of Marx Brothers, a mother pushes her sons into the vaudeville business. You know what? This wasn't too bad. It's fairly short, the songs are catchy, so why not? I give it a B. And that is the musicals for April. What did you think about me skipping the D, F, and L tier musicals? Would you like to hear me audibly roast them? Do you think it's better to just skip over them so that nobody's time is wasted? Let me know. I'm gonna listen to more musicals and continue to dread my existence. Okay, bye.